So today we will be talking about fear and how to use this to our own advantage rather than running away from things that we have to do because of fear. Hey fam, how are you doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tobi Achudume. If this is your first time here, you are super welcome. I am so excited to have you here with me. So here we talk about topics, tips and tricks that would help us grow fearlessly into the best versions of ourselves. So if you're ready to embark on this journey, please stick around and click the subscribe button so you get notified when we have new episodes on this channel. So today we would be talking about fear and how to use this to our advantage rather than letting it stop us from doing things that we have to do. So fear could be a lot of things to us. Fear is an emotion. Fear is a reaction, response, answer, or things that will just help us to make better decisions or wrong decisions. So fear keeps us from danger, fear keeps us from hurting ourselves, fear keeps us from making wrong decisions, from choosing the wrong option and going with the right options. So for example, fear would stop you from running in front of a moving train or from running in front of a moving truck on the highway because you don't want to die. Fear would also tell you to be careful with your use of knife in the kitchen because it is possible for you to cut your finger while you're cutting meat. Fear would also stop you from dipping your hand in hot oil or in hot water because you don't want to get burnt. So it is safe to say that fear would stop us or keep us from hurting or harming ourselves intentionally or unintentionally. That being said, on the other side of this is that fear could be crippling and could cripple us and our actions as humans. And this is seen when you fear too much and it actually stops you or limits you from doing the things that you have to do because you feel like it would hurt you, it would harm you, or it would make no sense. So while a little fear is good here and there, it should not stop us, and it definitely becomes a bad thing when we let it stop us from doing the things that we actually have to do. So that you know that knife could cut your fingers when you're using it in the kitchen doesn't make you use a fork to cut vegetables or use a fork to cut meat in the kitchen. Or the fact that you know that if you put your hand in hot oil or in hot water, it would burn you, that doesn't stop you from frying with hot oil or making tea with hot water. You see my point? So you know that all of these things could be damaging or could be hurtful if you use it in the wrong way, but it doesn't stop you from actually doing the things that you have to do because you fear that you could get burnt or you could get cut. Imagine what would happen if babies, when they are growing up, try to walk and they fall 5 times. And at the point where they are like, okay, I'm done, I am not going to try and walk again. What will happen to us? We would have a bunch of human beings, full-grown adults that do not know how to walk, not because they are lame or they do not know how to walk, but because they stopped trying to walk while they were babies. You see my point? So while fear would be a response and a reaction to situations and certain actions that could take place in our lives as humans, we should not let it stop us from taking actions that would propel us towards our growth, towards our purpose. We should not let fear stop us from doing the things that we have to do or taking the steps that we have to take. So the way fear works in our mind, it works with our thoughts and it works with our thinking. And one way to get this out of our mind, or one way for us to feel that we can stop being afraid or being fearful about the things that we have to do, is to try and avoid these thoughts. But have you noticed that the more you think about avoiding something, the more you're dwelling and thinking on that particular thought? For example, you're trying to stay away from sugar. So say you're staying off sugar, you want to stay off sugar for a particular period of time, and then you keep telling yourself, I'm staying off sugar, I'm staying off sugar, I'm staying off sugar, I'm staying off sugar. What happens at that point is that you're thinking of sugar, and the more you think of sugar, you want it. But look at it in this direction. You're trying to stay off sugar, and so you clear your mind of sugar in the sense that you replace your sugar with something else. Say honey. So you replace your sugar with honey, and rather than you thinking, I'm staying off sugar, I'm staying off sugar, you're thinking, I should use more honey, I should use more honey. What you have done is you've replaced your thought of sugar with your thought of honey. And that helps you to counter your thinkings of sugar or your cravings of sugar because you're thinking of honey rather than sugar. So you're replacing the sugar in your tea with honey, you're replacing the sugar in whatever it is that you like to take with honey. That way you're not thinking of sugar, but you're thinking of the honey that you're trying to include in your diet or in your meals. Same way with thoughts. Rather than you trying to avoid a thought by thinking you should avoid the thought, just try to replace the thoughts that you have with another thought that will take your mind off the original thought that you are staying away from. I hope that makes sense, but I'll explain. So you're trying to stay away from a particular thought of fear. Rather than you thinking you should stay away from that thought and avoid it with all your intentions and consciousness, you're replacing that thought with something else that counters your original fearful thought. And that way you're not thinking of the fearful thoughts that you have, but the new thoughts that you're using to counter your original thoughts. I hope I did a good job explaining that. So I'm going to share with you a few thoughts that I think would help you to counter your fearful thoughts, and that way you will understand better what I'm trying to explain. One of the biggest fears that we have as humans is fear of failure. So nobody wants to fail. We all want to be successful at anything that we do. You want to start a project knowing that you're going to succeed, you're going to be successful at whatever it is that you're trying to do. You want to start a new job knowing that you're going to excel at it. You want to start an assignment knowing that you're going to complete it excellently. So we don't want to fail and we don't want to think of failing. But before we start this project, before we start this new idea that we want to think of, one thing that usually accompanies any new thought or new idea is fear of failure. So rather than you thinking, oh, what if I fail at this thing? What if I'm not able to do this thing? What if it comes off wrong? Or what if it is not as successful as I want it to be? Think, what if I succeed? What if it becomes excellent? What if it becomes the next big thing? Rather than thinking of the negative side, think of the positive side. So counter your fear of failure with your fear of success. You're thinking, I could just excel at this thing and become the next big name in Africa. I could just excel at this thing and become the next big name in the world. Rather than dwelling on your fear of failure, you're dwelling on possibilities of you succeeding and excelling in the new project or assignment that you want to embark on. Another thought that accompanies fear is you thinking, if I fail, then. And then usually when you say then, what comes after it is maybe people are going to laugh at you, you're going to be seen as a failure or something. But think of it this way: if you fail at whatever it is that you're trying to do, it becomes another way for you to not do it. So see it as a learning process rather than a failing process. You have just learned a new way to not do what you want to do, and that gives you time to learn or see other ways that you can do it that will be excellent and will be magnificent for this new task or assignment that you're trying to accomplish or achieve. A common and popular story that would usually accompany talks on fear is the one of Thomas Edison, who created the light bulb. He attempted the creation of the light bulb for as many times as we would like to say, but he did not stop there. Every failed attempt that he had with the creation of the light bulb, rather than seeing it as a defeating moment, he saw it as a way to not do the light bulb or to not create the light bulb. And now we have light bulbs in different houses and we have different versions of it. So rather than seeing your failing moment as a failing moment, see it as a learning experience and just know that this is another way to not do this particular thing, but there are other ways that you could try and will become excellent for you to accomplish the task that you're trying to accomplish. When it's a new experience, when it's a new task, a new terrain that you've never been to, we easily want to see the failing moment as that failing moment. We just want to see it and be done with it, criticize ourselves and move on. But one thing that we can actually do is see these moments as learning experience, see it as a learning moment, and just go on with it. So you've learned that you should not do it this way. You've learned that this way doesn't work, and you're just moving on to the next way and the next tactic that you can use to accomplish this particular task in this new zone and in this new experience that you're going into. So one of my favorite sayings when it comes to fear is to fail fast and get up. So if you're going to fail at it, just fail now and then get up and do it in another way. The earlier you fail, the earlier you succeed at it. A third thing I would like to mention when it comes to countering your fear of thoughts with other thoughts is to see it as an opportunity, a challenging opportunity. So ask yourselves, why are you afraid of this particular thing? Why is there fear for this particular moment? Why do I feel like I cannot do this thing? So see it as that. One thing I know is that we're not afraid of the things that we're used to. You're not afraid of stepping into zones that you are used to. You're not afraid of doing things that you know how to do. It's a new moment, it's a new terrain, it's a new idea or a new task. And the fact that you feel that you're afraid or you feel fear when it comes to doing this thing means that it is a dream and a goal that you definitely need to pursue, because you're not afraid of things that is in your comfort zone. You only fear things that is bigger than you. And let's be honest, our dreams and goals should be way bigger than us, because we're supposed to grow into them and not be limited by our size or our foresight. Our foresight should be big enough. So when you have a goal that scares you, when you have a vision or a dream that is bigger than you, that is making you feel afraid to start it or to step into it, you should see it as a challenge that you're ready for, a challenge that you are able to take on. Because it means that it's a goal that you definitely should be fighting for. It's a goal that you should definitely be pursuing, and it is your goal to attain. That's why it looks fearful for you, because it is way bigger than you, but it is something that is for you because you don't want to fail at it. That's why you should go for it. So our dreams and our aspirations should be bigger than us. If it's not bigger than us, you need to go and dream again. You need to go back to your drawing board and make it bigger. It should definitely be bigger than us, and that means that it is a risk that is worth taking. It's a risk that you should definitely be ready to take on and be ready to succeed. It is the risk that is going to put your name on the sands of time. In dealing with fear, rather than trying to run away from the thoughts or the fearful thoughts that you have, you should counter these thoughts with positive thoughts. You should counter these thoughts with thoughts that you're able to work with. You should affirm your goals. You should affirm the new task. You should affirm it with positive thoughts, positive speaking, rather than dwelling on the negative thoughts that is breeding and grooming the fear that you are having. So rather than thinking that you should not be afraid or you should not feel this fear, feel the fear and then counter the fear with positive thoughts that you're ready to stick to. Affirm yourself, affirm the dream, affirm the goal that you're pursuing, and do not let the fear of not being able to achieve it stop you from actually trying to achieve it. So all these things that I have shared with you today are things that I actually do. So I'm not here to tell you things that I have not tried or do not see that it would work. There are tips that if you do it intentionally, you would be able to see the difference between you feeling fearful about doing something and you using the fear to actually do it. Let it be said that it is still a learning process, because there are new challenges with new growth. There are new challenges with new phases and with new terrains that we would go to. So dealing with the fear of yesterday doesn't mean you've dealt with tomorrow's fear. You would have to do it again tomorrow and tomorrow. One way to affirm yourself when it comes to doing the things that you want to do and you're feeling fearful about it is to use the word of God to counter it. The word of God always counters fear and counters the thoughts of fear. So you should definitely use the word of God to affirm yourself and to counter your fear with reasonable thinking, and that way you're able to pursue what it is that you want to pursue and excel at it brightfully at that. So guys, share with me in the comment section, what do you think about countering your fear of thought? What do you counter your fear of thoughts with when you feel fearful about a new assignment or a new task? What do you do to make sure that you still go for it and you're able to excel at it? I would like to see this in the comment section, so please share with me. So that's it for me for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it, and I'll see you in the next one. Till next time, bye.